That was Johnny Gill, Rub You the Right Way. I was watching the news yesterday, and I had to make sure I was actually hearing what I'm hearing. On the heels of Sha'Carri Richardson being denied the ability to perform, to compete in the Olympics in Tokyo because of marijuana, the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, and two other Democrats are now proposing decriminalizing marijuana at the federal level. Now, this is not a random senator. This is the most powerful senator in the country. And he, along with two other Democrats, are now trying to craft legislation that makes decriminalize marijuana. It's not a federal, wouldn't make it not a federal crime. Would release people from prison for non-violent drug convictions and expunge their records, and tax marijuana, which is what people have been saying all along. How impossible would it have been to have that conversation 10 years ago? Let me ask you something. Do you honestly believe we will be having conversations like the child tax credits where people started to get yesterday? Do you think that would happen? Do you think that we would have this infrastructure bill? Do you think that we would have this human infrastructure potential bill on the line right now? Do you think that would be happening if Chuck Schumer were not the majority leader? If Mitch McConnell were in charge right now, would they be coming anywhere close to any of these things? And let us be clear. Prison is the new slavery. It is what slave owners did when they couldn't hold you anymore. They made laws to put you in prison. And none have been more effective than the marijuana laws. 90% of the people in America right now are there for nonviolent drug offenses. And you know what that drug is? Marijuana. So it's ironic that the industry of slavery was once cotton. Now the plan is marijuana. Legalizing marijuana. 54% of black people live in the southern region of the United States of America, where laws against marijuana are the strictest, where the penalties are the harshest. Do you know what happens if people get to leave prison and have their records expunged and not go to jail for these things? You know what happens? You know how that affects people that you know and love right now. If you thought it would have been great to let Sha'Carri run because of weed, wait till Shaquille gets to come home in spite of it. This legislation would never have happened if people didn't recognize their political power and put them to bear. If it hadn't happened in Georgia and Arizona, we are not having these conversations. And right now, people in power know what that means. They know that you can set white supremacy and its tentacles. You can set them a titter. You can decide to start making real substantive change. Yes, I want police brutality to be dealt with. Yes, I want education to be dealt with. But one of the things that has to happen, this is something I never anticipated happening, and we're having this conversation not with some off-center, but with the leader of the Senate. The leader of the Senate. Honestly, could that be happening? Would we be having these conversations if Mitch McConnell was in charge? Even if the American people wanted it, 68% of the people think it should be decriminalized. But he can hold it on his desk and not do anything about it. We have been tied to these things. I was talking to a really good friend of mine. And all of these things are really just to sustain white supremacy. All of it. These laws would have put black and brown people in jail and keep them enslaved and getting free labor. You know benefits from the prison system? States, businesses, corporations, free labor. Who you think does their labor and agriculture work? Who do you think makes their chips and robocalls? Prisoners. It's a free labor source. Would a man from a southern state be having a conversation about decriminalizing marijuana and releasing all those people? He would not. And that only happened because people went to the polls and started to make these changes that are necessary to make our lives better. And now the conversation is, we want to, what are people on the right angry about? Woke people. Having critical race theory, because they know the more you learn about them and the more you know about you, you will start to make changes. They know that. I was with a friend of mine last night. We were watching the game. This guy is from Nigeria, a young dude named Chris Ayers. We were having all kinds of conversations. He's really one of the brightest dudes that I've ever gotten a chance to talk to. But he told me the story of how they break elephants. So when you're a baby elephant and you want to break an elephant, you put that baby elephant in a weight around his ankle that's impossible for him to move. It's impossible for him to move. This baby elephant can't move at all. And as it gets older, you lessen the weight. And by the time this massive, strong mature, majestic animal is in full maturity, you could hold him down with a string. With a string, because you have his mind. Where they're attacking is our ability to know ourselves, our ability to know what has happened to us, our ability to kind of start making counter narratives, our ability to make changes. Because they know that if you come to knowledge of self, that elephant needs one thing, not to know its circumstances, it just needs to know who it is. And they couldn't do it to him. What are they attacking right now? They don't want you to be woke. They attack knowledge. They attack being awoke. They don't want you to learn critical race theory. Why? Because then you will know what they did and what you've done. You will know what part they played and what you are. And the more you learn about yourself, the more powerful you become. The more aware you are, the more powerful, the more certain, the more things they can't do to you. When you come to the only reason white supremacy works is because it convinces you that you are inferior. It needs a willing partner. All these things to take away your knowledge, to make you feel a way, to not let you know things. Also, they can't hold you down with a string. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the jazz report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.